Hello, everybody, and welcome into the first episode of TECSpertz right here, the revival, back on the air. Thank you all for joining us and listening here, and we're very excited to have you all back and listening. First off, TECSpertz is sponsored by the Big Vape Theory and the East Carolinian University's Office of Undergraduate Research. Those are our sponsorships for this podcast. Now, on the mic at the moment, this is Anthony. I am the host of Inside the Lines. You can join in and listen to me talking sports on Fridays from 1 to 2. I'll send it around the rest of the table.
What's up, everybody? I'm Brendan. I am the sports editor at the East Carolinian, and I'll pass it on to the next.
All right. My name is Markayla, and I am a sports reporter for the East Carolinian as well.
What's up, everybody? I'm Max. I am also known as DJ Mad Max. I'm now the news and sports director, but used to host Instant Replay. Happy to be back on the mic with you guys, talk about sports with my crew.
So we are ready to rock and roll, and I think that this is going to be a good start. We are going to have many more episodes to come down the road, so this is just the beginning. I'm going to send it over to Brendan, and I'm going to have him talk a little bit about what's going on here, the plan of attack. First off, in the world of sports at ECU, East Carolina University is going to play App State at Bank of America Stadium, where the Panthers play, the Carolina Panthers play. That's going to be 7:30 this Thursday, September 2nd, and I think it's going to be very good. A little bit of a preview. I'll send it over to Brandon for this one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great game. It's going to be a great test for ECU coming back for the first time in a while. Hopefully we'll get a lot of Pirate Nation out there in Charlotte. But I think a big thing that the team needs to work on as far as a strategy focus going forward, I think they need to be able to stop the run against App State. They have a lot of size in the backfield, and I think they need to be making quick decisions. Linebackers need to be plugging holes quickly. It just needs to be quick decision making. Make sure you get there, get to your assignment, stop the run so that we can force more mistakes in the air.
Absolutely. Lately in college football, there have been a lot of RPOs, so I believe that we need to understand and recognize the pass versus the run and realize that even if they're going for a pass play, if our defensive line concaves, that they're just going to run it straight up the gap and see. So those middle linebackers need to fill in that opportunity and make sure we get the quarterback before he gets too much area.
In both the scrimmages that we had, the defense kind of came out on top with keeping the offense to 2 runs, 3 runs, barely any touchdowns, so I think we have a good chance with that, with stopping them. When I was talking to the players, they were like, I feel like we can stop them. Defense has been coming out on top through practice, and there's a lot of guys coming back. That's big on defense this year.
I believe our offense, I believe, has really been giving them a good test. I mean, in the backfield, we do have Rajay Harris. We also have Mason Garcia, who has been running the offense, and he will be the backup quarterback going into Thursday's game behind Holton. And Mason Garcia provides a real different play style to Holton, as Holton is a much more pass-oriented quarterback, where Mason looks to run a lot more. And so by the defense blocking or playing against Mason Garcia and Rajay Harris both in the backfield, this creates a more dynamic, making them more prone to stop the run. They're clamping down a little bit more on that run. Now, I do think we do need to be careful, because if we clamp too much down on the run, the pass will open up. So, in my opinion, we need to force the D linemen to rush vertical and make sure that they don't pull horizontal. If they rush vertical, then we can keep our safeties back. And if we keep our safeties back, our cornerbacks playing clamps, then we'll be pretty good blocking that run as well as blocking the pass.
And then we could pretty much be all set up regardless on both sides of the ball. That is both running and in the passing game as well. I find this to be pretty unique and interesting. Like I mentioned earlier, this game is going to be played in Charlotte, Bank of America Stadium, where the Carolina Panthers play. Already 31,000 tickets have been sold. A little stat for you right there. And the Mountaineers will be the actual home team, serve as the home team against the Pirates. And I find it to be good because it's more of a mutual sight here, because you have App State, people coming in from the mountains to Charlotte, and then people here in Greenville and in the surrounding areas making their way to Charlotte. So both kind of meeting in the middle, sort of say, for this game. So regardless, I think it's going to be a good matchup. But we have to be very careful, because this team, App State team, has won a lot of games in the past. They know what they're doing. They're a good team all around, good coaching system, and a lot of players to serve for it. So I think it should be a good matchup regardless.
Absolutely. Personally, I love this matchup week 1, especially for the Pirates, more so than App State. I believe this gives us a big advantage going in. If and when we win this game, this provides us with a major confidence boost going into our season, hopefully winning 6 games. Now, in the past few years, we have struggled, have not come out with that bowl game goal. But if we win this game, and when we win this game, it gives us a major confidence boost, especially going into our South Carolina game. Because South Carolina every year has a pretty solid team, a very good school overall when it comes to athletics. So going into when we win this game on Thursday in Charlotte, away game, technically, being the underdog team, going in, fighting it out. Even if we come down a little bit short, if we put up a good fight coming into the South Carolina game when we're coming back to a giant homecoming after 2 years. And let me tell you, Dowdy gets rowdy. Mm-hmm. Dowdy is not a place that you want to go into unprepared. No, so Dowdy gets very rowdy. So going into it, I believe this is a big, big opportunity for them. When we steal this win, that it'll give us a big boost to steal the next win.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like having Appalachian State going right into USC is a good kind of warm-up, I guess, a good measuring stick. Give two very good, very talented programs up first. If you perform well against App State, turn that around, perform really well against USC, you have a good blueprint going forward for the rest of the season.
Yeah. Like I say, I strongly believe it's going to rely on the pass. Is my thought on this team. Rajay Harris has been killing it for us in the past couple years, but if he continues to run like he does, this will open it up for Holton to throw. Mm-hmm. Holton's got a very, very good arm from the left side, so they're going to put their main rushers on the right side, hopefully, but that's also switching up where they're going to come from. They might not be used to rushing from his right, and now we got him thrown from the left. He's able to launch it downfield, launches it very well. And by Rajay running it out to each side, making sure he's picking up those yards, it's going to open up Holton to throw both in the middle of the field and out to the perimeter.
Yeah, I think the Pirates are going to come in with a lot of confidence, too, because not only is this their first game against an opponent in a while, but they've also have won the past 6 games versus App State in the years in the past. So I think that they should think about that and come up with a lot of confidence, because I think they're really evenly matched up. Both have teams at almost the cap, which is 125 in the NCAA. We have like 123. They have like 118. So they've had a lot of practice. Especially with the COVID season, they had a lot to go through, a lot of returning players, a lot of redshirt players. So I think it's a really evenly matched teams, both of them.
How about that? That's an interesting stat right there. Coming in six games against App State. Very interesting. I think for me, going back to what we were talking about just a little bit ago, as long as we put up a good fight, put up a good, whether we win or not, I think that if it's a close game, maybe decided by a field goal or a touchdown, if we keep it within certain margins, I think that's the best way to go. Obviously, you want to walk out of there with a W, but if that doesn't happen, you kind of could understand, tip your cap to App State. But we're looking to get a win, hopeful for a win, and we'll just have to see what lies ahead.
Yeah, and of course, keep your eyes on that quarterback play still. I know we were talking about Garcia, but Holton just was named the NFL Players Association on the Collegiate Bowl watch list. So just keep your eye out there. Keep an eye on our quarterback. Let's make sure he performs pretty well.
I definitely agree, specifically with Anthony. This game is not a must-win. It's a must-compete. If we get out there and we compete and we put up touchdowns and we compete with this App State team, even if we fall down a little bit, being that we haven't played a real team in a little bit of while in front of a big rowdy crowd and we're playing in front of an App State crowd, even if we fall a little bit short, it's not a must-win. It is a must-compete. So if we get that first win of the season, that's huge. But if we can come out of there with any sort of confidence that we can get the ball down the field against an effective team using both the pass and the run, and that if they're locking down one of them, that we can rely on our other one. We could rely on the run or we could rely on the pass if the other one's being clamped down on to get some yardage, to get some touchdowns. And that's going to give us the advantage coming into the South Carolina game. I really do. We're playing on a big stage, much bigger than we're used to playing, against a rowdy crowd that's not going to be happy that we're coming from East Carolina. And we're going to have to bring back whatever we learned from that game, all the confidence that we're going to build up. We need to build up some confidence. And if we get out there, win, or even fall a little bit short, as long as we're competing, we can come bring that back into the South Carolina game. And I believe that'll lead us to a win against SC.
The last meeting that East Carolina and App State had was back in 2012, September 1st, when ECU won 35-13. That was their last meeting. However, I know that we have 6 straight wins against App State. Here's another little stat for you. App State is 19-12 straight up in 32 head-to-head matchups with East Carolina, so they do technically have our number there. I think, again, this is a must-compete. We need to put all our eggs in one basket and do the best we can out there. So this game should be very interesting, and I think we'll have to keep our eyes peeled for sure.
Definitely not gonna be an easy game. And nobody's expecting that. I know for sure Coach Mike Houston's not expecting that. I know Holton's preparing for a dogfight. But it is a must-compete as long as you walk out there with some sort of confidence build-up. Then it should be a road to SC. It should be a road to SC as we come on back to Greenville and play in Dowdy with our roaring Pirate crowd for the first time in a while. But I know I'm excited for the SC game, and I know everyone's excited for the SC game. This is not homecoming, but it's the first homecoming in a while.
Yeah, that's for sure.
We're excited for the Pirates coming back to Dowdy.
I think the fact that we're playing such a strong team at home is just really going to help us out, because if we went there, it might be a whole different story. But now if we're in Dowdy, I think we have a good chance with the crowd, the team, a big game.
They come into Pirate Nation, we got to get loud.
Exactly.
That's right. You got to let them know.
Yeah.
For those of you that have never been to Dowdy, it gets quite loud with the purple haze popping out and then our Pirates running out.
Purple gold chant. Yeah.
Purple gold chant. It gets very loud. We need everyone showing up.
Right.
Even if you're a freshman, a little unused to what it's like being in Pirate Nation, we need you guys to show up. The more noise, the better.
That's for sure.
The more noise, the better. We can intimidate a team as we get under their skin, and I believe SC is going to be no different as we get on in there. The louder we get, the better we do on the field. The Pirates seem to light up when it comes crunch time, and when the crowd gets loud, the Pirates seem to light up. So that's what we need to do.
Well, I'll tell you, this is what we'll do here on TECSpertz. We'll go around real quick, and we'll do a pretty much a prediction segment here. So for this game, obviously we're all hopeful to win. We'll go around the table here. Tell me who will win the game, ECU versus App State, and if you can, give me a score. I'll start with Markayla.
I think it's just going to be close the whole time. I think it's going to be touchdown after touchdown going back and forth, but I'm hopeful that we come out on top, but I'm not sure because of the roster that App State does have, and they're just past seasons. They come in confident always because they're just one of the best teams that we have in North Carolina in college football. So I think they might come out on top, but I'm very hopeful that we're going to be pretty confident in coming in there to vote first them. Score prediction?
Score prediction, winner. Talk to me.
App State's going to win. And score prediction, 30-something to 20-something. App State's up.
Okay. All right.
To give you exact.
I think I'm gonna go with them Pirate boys. I think it's gonna be more of a defensive battle though. I think it's gonna be a lot of things on the ground just because it's first game. You're not gonna see a whole lot of gunslinging, shooting for big touchdowns till later in the game. I'm thinking it's gonna be a lower score, probably around 28-21 maybe a little bit, maybe 25-21, maybe a little bit that.
Okay.
ECU boys.
I gotta say, I love that prediction. I'm gonna go with the same. I'm gonna go ECU Pirates, 28-21. But I think it's gonna come down to the pass. I really do. I do think they're gonna be running it a lot, but I think towards the end of the game, if they do pass the ball a little bit more, and I believe Holton has got a little bit more upside when it comes to that than the App State team. Holton's been able to drop dimes on both down the middle of the field and on the perimeter, pretty deep downfield. So Holton can get it done pretty quick going down the field. And being the underdogs, I think, favors ECU here now. Now, hear me out. There's something dangerous about a team that doesn't know they should lose.
Mm-hmm.
If they think that they're supposed to win, even though they're supposed to lose, it's a very dangerous team. If they come in there with that chip on their shoulder, I think that's what's going to be the edge. Now, since it's the first game of the season, I don't know if it's going to come down to tactics or run versus pass as much as it is just going to pure mentality. If you have dogs out there that are just ready to run through anyone, whether they're 100 pounds lighter or whether they're 100 pounds heavier, that's going to be what it comes down to. And so I'm going ECU Pirates 28-21.
There you go. Very nice. I think that's going to be very important that we are sharp in everything that we're doing. We need to have some of the sharpest tools in the toolbox and come out with all the plays, all the tricks up our sleeves in order to defeat the big, heavy favorite here in App State. I will take ECU to win. I will go a little bit more of a higher score. I'm going to go 31-28. Final score, ECU beating App State. So listen, this game
down to just
down to the wire.
Yeah.
That's
just
exactly
down
right.
to a field goal. I like to hear
down
that.
To a field goal.
That'll be an exciting game.
I think it's going to be
Charlotte.
interesting. I think that definitely the ground game will be unique here and probably the main focal point. And we might see some gunslinging in the second half of the game, maybe third quarter, fourth quarter.
So let me ask Brendan,
like
do you think it's going to come down to Rajay?
So I think it's going to come down to the backfield on both sides. I think Rajay is going to play a huge part of the game. I also think I think Holton is going to do more of a job of game managing the game, and I think Rajay is going to be the real playmaker here. So
do you think with the threat of Rajay running out to the side, even if they have him running a screen, do you think that would open up the chance for Holton to run?
Oh yeah,
because while Holton is a pass first quarterback, Holton will book it down the field if he sees an opening.
Yeah, I think we're gonna need strong blocking on the outside. And I'm not just talking from our tight ends and the outside line. I'm talking from our receivers. We're going to need to seal those edges. We're going to need to get those DBs blocked up. And if Rajay hits the edge, we already know what's going to happen. He's gone. That's a 25-yard run right there. So I think the focus is we get him to the outside, and then we got to make some passes down the middle.
Make some passes down the middle.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So there is the recap there for this game coming up. How can you watch it? It's going to be this Thursday, September 2nd, 7:30 start at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. Coverage will be on ESPNU, I believe, and I'm sure a lot of other channels here locally. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I think it should be a good one. Yeah. That is the story here for ECU and App State.
If you guys got nothing to do, make sure you get on down to Charlotte. Go and support the Pirates down there.
Hop on down to Charlotte if you can.
Paint it purple. Paint it purple.
That's right. I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of purple and gold, and there will be a fair share of App State fans as well there.
Absolutely.
So probably evenly matched as far as crowd-wise. So that is the story with ECU football. I'm going to bounce it over to Brandon here to talk a little bit about ECU soccer and what's going on locally as well.
Well, yeah, so around the rest of the university in the world of sports, soccer just had a game last night. They fell short to – they played last night. You were at that
SC.
SC? Yeah, they fell short to South Carolina. It was a good showing, good competitive showing. It was a good home game. Crowd was there. Crowd was amped. It was a good game, good show. Markayla, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
It was actually like the fourth highest crowd that we've ever had at Johnson Stadium, which was good. There was a lot of us out there. We have Maeve English. She's just going to keep doing what she does. She's gotten so many AAC, ACC, NCAA awards throughout last season. I think she's going to continue to do that this season. We've got a lot of people coming back, a lot of players coming back that's on the defensive side. There was a lot of defensive moves that day. I think it's going to be a good season. We've already got a few wins under our belt, but it's going to be coming down when we get to conference teams like Florida, those different teams that always give us a struggle. But I think we have a good foundation going into those games.
I got to agree. I think the main thing that I was impressed with was the final ended up being 3-1. Mm-hmm. Coming down into the last 10 minutes, it was 3-0. And then they pulled it out, and they got at least a goal coming out of there. I think that gives them a little bit of confidence.
Absolutely.
Coming out of that game, not getting shut out, not getting it blown out, but that they can get something done against that South Carolina defense. So that if we do end up facing them later on in the season, that we do have a little bit of a chip on our shoulder coming out. I think it was impressive. Even when we got down, they definitely fought. I do think that some of the rough calls might have hurt us.
Definitely.
And so we got in a little bit of penalty trouble, but we definitely do need to be a little more clean there. But I saw no lack of fight or lack of desire coming from that team. I think the crowd needs to get a little more rowdy. I was definitely there. It needs to get a little more rowdy. People are not aware of how much the crowd can impact the game.
Definitely.
So the louder we get, the better it gets. But I really do think it was impressive from the girls fighting on there. There were a couple phenomenal shots from the South Carolina team.
Definitely.
I mean, the first goal of the game hit it perfect left corner, coming from the right side of the field. She jumped as high as she could. The crowd could say what they want, but there was no way stopping that ball. Phenomenal shot, and it's not like South Carolina did not earn that victory.
Right.
It was just a tough fought game, but the girls did not stop fighting for that.
I think even if we played them again tomorrow, it would be a whole different outcome.
Whole different story.
I believe in the process here, and I love the coach, Jason Hamilton. I mean, he does a great job with the team, keeps them afloat and on the right track and everything. I think it definitely is important that they did not get shut out here, and they at least put some sort of number and goal on the board for the team. Moving forward, I think that it should be interesting, and I know the scheduling ahead looks a little something like this.
For volleyball.
Got it. Check that. So the scheduling-wise, they're going to be just fine moving forward. I know that, and they'll figure it out, furthermore from there. But ECU soccer was in action yesterday, and they will be in action following forward, so we'll have to get some information regarding that momentarily, and I believe we do. Markayla, if you want to take it away.
Yep, so today they're going to actually be playing High Point August 29th at 1 p.m. ESPN Plus. They're at High Point, and then they'll be back at Johnson Stadium September 2nd, same day as the App game at 7:05 p.m., but you can also see that on ESPN Plus. They'll be versing Campbell.
Excellent.
So September 2nd, a big day for ECU Athletics.
Yeah, sure
big
is.
Big day for ECU Athletics.
Sure is.
Playing two in-state rivals, right?
Yep.
That's right.
Going after them.
All right, so around the rest of the world of athletics at ECU, we also have volleyball. They got their first game canceled due to a COVID outbreak amongst the Pirates team. That game was scheduled for August 27th on Friday against Liberty University. Now their first game is against Wofford on September 3rd on Friday at 1 p.m., followed by another game against NC State on September 4th at noon. Both games will be in Raleigh, and it'll be a 2-game weekend that we'll keep our eye on to. A 3-game weekend, I apologize. There's another game on Saturday, September 4th at 7 p.m. against North Carolina. We will be patiently and anxiously awaiting for the start of the volleyball season. You want to tell us a little bit more about that, Markayla?
Yeah, I think out of that weekend, 3 games, I think we can win 2 out of 3 games. Carolina's undefeated right now. We haven't played a game, but NC State is. They're going in, as of right now, 0-2. So I think with us coming into our first game, we're going to have a lot to do. We have a lot to prove. As our first games were against Wofford, NC State, and Carolina. So I think 2 out of 3 we can win, and I'm just hopeful for it. Be back-to-back games.
Yeah, as long as we come out of those games with something.
Yeah.
So 2 to 3 is the goal. Let's make sure we come out with a series win. As long as we go out, but as long as we are improving, because it is extremely relatively early into the season. So we need to make sure that we're not falling apart late in games, that we're staying through the entire game. As long as we're coming out with couple wins and a lot more lessons that we can come back to Greenville with and learn, I think that's going to be the key to the season.
It's also like a whole new team. I think we got like 11 new people coming in with freshmen and 1 transfer. We've added a lot of height to the team.
Difficult.
We got 3 people coming in over 6 feet. So I think it's a whole new team. We have something to prove now.
I know COVID has not only hurt volleyball, but it has hurt a lot of different sports because now we're losing our old guys. So we got a lot more younger people on our team and less leadership down there. So I know it's difficult. I know the lacrosse team, we ended up losing 15 seniors last year.
Wow.
So that is about half the team.
That's a
right
big
there.
hit right
That
there.
is a
Yeah.
huge hit.
Huge hit.
Losing Megan Palazzi and a lot of our other girls. Megan leading the nation in goals for a while,
right.
Being a very, very difficult force out on the field. Luckily, we do have a lot of our girls coming back, making sure leading, but now we do have the majority of our team is a younger team now. And that's the same with all our sports, which just does provide a little bit of a dynamic there that we need to get around.
Yeah, and it's good to have a young team, but you also want to have your seasoned veterans as well to kind of lead the pack and lead the way there.
Need someone to guide you as you go on into
have
the
somebody
dog
under
days,
your wing,
as
sort
you
of
go
say.
on into the dog days.
Yeah, and one of those leaders are going to be senior Bree Wood. She's coming back for her final season. She won All-American Conference first team last year before the season was ended. So coming back in 2021, we'll see what she's got to show us this year.
All right, well, there you have it. Anything else that we want to cover here on TECSpertz first episode? I think that wraps up our first episode here. First off, I would want to quickly mention that TECSpertz is sponsored by the Big Vape Theory and East Carolina University's Office of Undergraduate Research. Ladies and gentlemen, this has concluded our first episode here on TECSpertz. Be sure to join us again next week as we tune in and dial in for episode number 2. Anthony saying so long. We'll see you around. Brandon, Markayla, and Max. Take care, everybody.
Take care, y'all.